There are certain people trying to destroy crypto, and it has nothing to do with protecting investors, as they say. And something really just doesn't add up when it comes to these things that are happening. In this video, I just want to show you a couple examples of what I'm talking about, but I also want to talk about why I think they're losing in their battle to try and destroy crypto. And I think the number one reason why the crypto industry will win is because we have phenomenal leadership and people that are honest, truthful, and genuinely sincere in what they are trying to offer the world around us. So let's jump into this video and talk about this, and we're also going to look at Bitcoin charts, and hit the subscribe and like on the way in, and let's do it. We're definitely going to look at the Bitcoin charts in this video. This is the 6 hour, the consolidation. I don't know how else to put it if you're watching Bitcoin charts all of the time. A little annoying, right? So we're going to talk about that. I actually want to show you a chart on the weekly that I've just been paying a lot of attention to. Before we do that though, I want to just discuss everything that's going on in terms of right here, the anti-crypto army, and everything that I'm going to say in this video. I say humbly, I say respectfully. Obviously, so many of us agree with the people on the other side of the battlefield that are just so, they're anti-crypto. They're the anti-crypto army. But I think it's extremely important that we all just be respectful and stay humble in the conversation. And the leaders that I see in this space, it's exactly what they're doing. And the leaders that I see in this space that are on the front lines of this war for us, fighting for crypto, the number one reason I think we're going to win is because there is integrity there, there's genuineness there. And in just life and business, when those things are in play and that's how you're operating, things are in your favor. Things are in your favor. I said the other day, I said, imagine running your political campaign on anti-crypto message in 2023, the exact year crypto is proving itself to be the answer to most of the world's financial problems. And that's not me just like bullish on crypto and saying that and just throwing hopium that sounds good. It's actually what's happening. I don't know exactly where the bank failures off the top of my head are on this chart, but Bitcoin's been an uptrend while banks are failing. And that's kind of a narrative that's continuing right now. And so when I say that it's proving itself to be the answer to most of the world's financial problems, we've been saying that for years, that it really is. But now when we actually look at what's happening in the financial market and compare it to Bitcoin, and it's not just because price is going up, right? It's the fundamentals to that. It's the fundamentals to price going up, why it's going up. And so that's number one. And there's this article I just came across, Senator Warren Marshall delay reintroducing crypto bill due to lack of sponsors. And the question enters, are they losing? Are they losing against the army, which is genuinely fighting for something that is good and fighting in the right way? And the question is, are they losing? The latest version of the bill text, which has not yet been publicly released, includes the same language opponents originally found troubling, according to documents obtained by Blockworks. So it's the same language they were using before, and the following groups will be responsible for adhering to KYC policies: unhosted wallet providers, digital asset miners, validators, other nodes that may act to validate or secure third-party transactions. The list goes on, but here's the key point, drives it home. Bill opponents argue the legislation goes too far. The expectations being put on the industry are unattainable. Crypto advocacy group, the Chamber of Digital Commerce, said earlier this week in response to the bill. Do you think that it's unattainable? Do you think that they're going too far? Comment below, let me know your thoughts. My thoughts are they are going too far, and my thoughts are it's disingenuous what they're doing, and it's really not to protect anybody. It's to drive innovation and drive crypto growth away from the United States. That's what's happening. That's why this is happening. And I really hope they lose in that battle, as we all fight for just innovation to stay, and we fight for clarity and guidance. And here's just another example. This is the SEC chair, and he did this video yesterday. He's very simply, to sum this up, he's saying if you get citation for walking your dog without a leash, which you could, but you call your dog a goldfish, that doesn't mean you're not going to get a citation just because you're calling it a goldfish. He's saying the same thing for securities or for crypto, saying if you're just going to sit there and say they're not securities, that doesn't make them not securities, right? But the thing is, as we look for guidance, as we strive for guidance, as we all try to do the right thing, that's confusing. Because here's Gary Gensler in 2018. Listen to this.
3/4 of the market is non-securities. It's just a commodity, a cash crypto.
Because 3/4 of the market are commodities. They're non-securities. So you see the mixed messaging? Do you see why it's so hard for this industry to grow, to innovate, and to do so just with clarity and confidence? This is why, and this is what people are fighting for. And when I say people, this is Paul Graywall at Coinbase. He's a chief legal officer. And just, I tweeted this yesterday. It's a very quick clip. Him and Brian Armstrong sent a message to the SEC. This is a very quick clip of him in that message. I said he's an absolute boss because I really think he is. Check it out, and then we're going to look at the Bitcoin charts.
Coinbase will defend itself vigorously in litigation if it comes to that. But it does not have to come to that. We will show up at your offices any day, any time to discuss a workable path forward for our industry. But we won't find that path without true dialogue.
When you watch that video, if you might know what I'm talking about, there's confidence portrayed in that video because there's integrity lying behind that message. That's why. It's very simple. It's simple integrity and genuineness, trying to do the right thing. That's why that video is so powerful to me. I think it's such a short video, but it really, I think, is powerful because it displays more than just a powerful message. It's why it's a powerful message that gets me. And that's because I think the people that are fighting to do what's right, there's genuineness in that. And I like that. I really do. As somebody that's interested in crypto, I really like the fact that we're on that side of the playing field. We're on that team. And so I just wanted to bring that up. I know I don't cover crypto news all the time, but this is a really big ongoing talking point. This is an ongoing thing that's happening within crypto, and there's a lot to it, and we need to track it. So that's that. Bitcoin on the daily, I mean, higher highs and higher lows thus far, right? And even on the short term, things like just this recent bounce off the 50-day moving average, exactly what we want to see. Go to the 6 hour. It's unbelievable the setup that has happened. We've been tracking it, and I have a point here to make. We've broken the lower trend line. We've fallen down. We didn't hit the target. We got the exact pullback to that trend line that we were looking for. Would there be bullish confirmation, a break above? No, there was a break down. But we got the support at this macro trend line that goes all the way back here to November. So Bitcoin, just from a technical analysis perspective, almost perfect what it's doing, right? However, I mentioned it's just kind of an annoying move because it's just consolidation after consolidation, fake out after fake out. And we continue to track it, and we're going to, especially on the short term. But in this video, I didn't really want to track so much the short term, right? There's actually, as I do this video, I'll throw this out there to you. 28,500 support to the upside at the very simplest, 30,500. And Bitcoin's like right in the middle. We can monitor which direction it's going to break, wait for a confirmation either way. That's what I'm watching on the short term. But on the short term, I continually have been looking at the weekly. And I have to clean this chart up just a little bit. But if you look at this weekly chart, there's just a huge point I want to make. If you look at this 20-week moving average that just crossed the 50-week, incredibly bullish, huge in terms of cycles and the shift to the bull market. We had a very similar move back here, a 20-week crossing above the 50-week moving average. But notice something, this was post-halving, right? So we're still quite a ways away, over 300 days or so away from the next Bitcoin halving. And the reason why Bitcoin actually even had to cross back above the 20-week moving average, back above the 50-week here, after that Bitcoin halving, a big reason could be because of COVID and that huge just capitulation, drawing that 20-week moving average down. That's partly how that chart played out. But it's this right here, this 20-week moving average crossing above the 50-week moving average. And this is more in range, this entire move, and everybody knows it. This entire move back there, very much in range of where we are right now in terms of crypto cycles comparatively. So whether you take that 20-week moving average crossing above the 50 or this 20-week moving average crossing above the 50, I want to point something out to you that I think we should constantly remind ourselves of when we're zooming in on these crazy charts. This is what I want to point out. Whether it was the one before the halving back here or this one, 20-week moving average crossing, Bitcoin did the same thing both times. It pulled into the moving averages. So pulled into the 20-week moving average and then the 50-week moving average before popping back up. And then when it crossed this time, the 20 week above the 50, it got a nice move to the upside, but it pulled back to the 20 week. This is something that Bitcoin just does on, you can call it a weekly chart, but daily chart, these pullbacks to these moving averages. This is something that I cannot get out of my mind. And this is even in the midst of, hey, maybe Bitcoin actually does just see another just swing high. Maybe it's like $35,000 to $40,000. At that point, you go back to the weekly, and we're going to watch the short term, obviously, in the upcoming weeks. But you go back to the weekly, and you just kind of like, whether it's now or if it is at the $35,000 to $40,000, and you zoom out, right? Say Bitcoin does just hit, let's call it right here, or right here, or 41, 42. On this chart, it's all this space in play as we approach the halving that I am so watchful of. And that is the 20-week moving average, the 50-week moving average, and the support that is there. Because when we start testing that support, and I don't know if it'll be in the shorter term or if it'll be in kind of a longer term, maybe it's in August or something. When we start testing those areas, that is precisely when we start really talking about the next bull market. I don't think sitting here right now talking about the next bull market is where my head's at. It's not. We're in this current move to the upside, but I think there's patience involved in this entire move. So we'll track the short term, but it's this 20-week moving average crossing above the 50-week, and it's the repetitiveness of Bitcoin pulling into those moving averages that I just want to continually track as we are zooming in on the charts, right? So that part of the story I think is important. It's foundational to the macro cycles of Bitcoin and really the macro story that I think a lot of us are tracking. This is what I'm tracking, the macro, and I think a lot of you are as well interested in that. So that's something I wanted to bring up in today's Bitcoin video. So let me know your thoughts about all of this. I appreciate you, especially if you're watching this video. It's like Friday night. I don't even know if any of you will be on YouTube, but if you are, hit the subscribe, hit the like. I really appreciate all of your support. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.